Hi guys, we're about to learn about how we can use the area and circumference formulas to find things like the radius, diameter, and other items of the circle. So sometimes you'll be given like a radius or diameter and have to find area and circumference. Sometimes you'll be given the area or the circumference and you'll have to find the radius, diameter, and or area or circumference. So I'm going to show you a lot of different situations where if you're given one thing, you can then find something else. So that's the idea. All right, so let's go back to that lovely Prezi slide that tells us about all these lovely formulas. Okay, so we know that the diameter, which is that lovely segment that extends from one end of the circle to the other and must hit the center, is equal to 2 times the radius. Or the radius, which remember the radius is that lovely segment that starts from the center and extends to the circle. Is equal to half the diameter. So if you know the diameter, you can, if you know the radius, you can double it to get the diameter. Or if you know the diameter, you can half it to get the radius. The circumference, there are 2 versions of the formula depending on what you're given. If you're given the radius, it can be 2 pi r. Or if you're given the diameter, it's just pi times the diameter. And we're going to leave pi in our answer because pi is the most exact answer. If we round to 3.14, we'll be leaving our actual answer hanging because it won't be the exact answer. Sorry, won't be the exact answer. And we like things to be exact in math. So we're going to leave pi in our answer. It's going to look a little funny, but we're good with funny, so it'll be okay. And then the area is pi times the radius squared. So there's only one version of that formula. Technically, you could say like area equals pi times half the diameter squared if you know the diameter, but we're just going to use just the radius squared in this case. All right, so let's get back to the problem so we can get going on this epic example. Okay, so it says find the area and circumference of the circle, which in the circle, what segment has been given to us right here? What is the segment that starts on one side of the circle, hits the center, and goes to the other end of the circle? Yes, it is the diameter. Okay, which the reason why I have radius on here, we kind of need to know the radius in order to find the area. Technically, I guess you don't have to, but it'll be helpful to know the radius if we're finding the area. Technically, if I know the diameter, I can find the circumference like that. So, just keep that in mind. All right, so let's start by finding the radius. Okay, I know that the radius equals the diameter over 2. So if I half the diameter, bam, I'll get the radius, which that's going back to this lovely formula right here. The radius is 1/2 the diameter, which is the same thing as the diameter divided by 2. Okay, let's get back to the problem and let's get going. Okay, so the radius equals my diameter, which is 16. So 16 over 2. All right, and 16 over 2 is 8. So the radius is 8, and I'm going to use units because in area and circumference and radii, if we're given units, we need to use units. So this is 8 centimeters. So we know the radius, so we're one step in the right direction. Yes. Okay, let's keep going. Let's write down that nifty area formula, which is just a quick recap. Area equals pi r squared. Pi r squared. Pi times the radius squared. So I'm going to be using the radius to help me solve that. Okay, so area equals pi r squared. Okay, so area equals pi times my radius, which we just found out the radius was 8. Whoa. So I'm going to fill that bad boy in. And then we're just going to square it. Sorry, guys. This is a pi. It's a little pretty messed up pi. Okay, so area equals pi r squared. Now, usually when we leave pi in our answer, we're going to write that after our constant, which I know doesn't make sense because in our formula, the radius is after the pi, but that's just how it is. Mathematicians are really weird. The formula probably would make more sense. It was area equals r squared pi, but I guess pi r squared just kind of flows nicer. Like, try saying area equals pi r squared, and then try saying area equals r squared pi. Ew, that version just doesn't sound as pleasant, right? So I guess that's the reason. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm going to square the 8 and then put the pi after it because that's what we do as mathematicians. Okay, so 8 squared, 8 times 8 is 64. And I'm going to bring down my pi over here. So 64 pi. Okay, and then for my final answer, I'm going to include my units. Don't forget, area is in your units squared. Okay, we're moving from like 1 dimension into 2 dimensions. So we're going to be squaring. Okay, so area equals 64 pi centimeters squared. Bam. So that part's donezo. All right, and then circumference, you can use either formula. You could say circumference equals 2 pi r, or circumference equals pi times diameter, which again, I do have that on the slide. So you can use either of these formulas. If you had the diameter though, it's easier just to go ahead and do this one because it's just the diameter times pi, then you're done. So I'm going to use the second one, but honestly, you could use either. It doesn't matter. Whatever floats your boat, right? Okay, so circumference, in this case, I'm going to say pi times diameter. You could also say circumference equals 2 pi r, whatever floats your boat. I'm going to use this one though. This is the one I'm going to be using. Okay, so circumference equals pi times the diameter, which I know that to be 16 centimeters. So pi times 16, which again, we always put pi after the constant, which I know our formula is not presented that way, but I guess mathematicians just like to make things complicated because that's how we are, right? Okay, so circumference equals 16 pi. So we always write pi after the constant. And circumference is not in units squared, okay? It's still just our normal 1 dimension kind of part of the circle. So this is just going to be 16 pi centimeters. We haven't moved into 2 dimensions, so it's not squared. Okay, and guess what, you guys? That's it with that problem. Cool beans, right? Wasn't that fun? These are going to be even more exciting. So wait, for example, 2 and 3, because we're going to be using the circumference and area to find other things, which that will be a lot more exciting. All right, let's get going.